So what is up, guys? Souter the Savage back, and today we are here with NFL Robert Meacham predictions, or Robert Woods. It is, and also Josh Allen. It is week 17. We have made it through 16 weeks up to this. As always, if you want to see certain matchups, timestamps are in the description below. But anyways, once again, 16 matchups to get to. Some are more important than others. Non-important games are at 1 o'clock. More important games at 4. Most important at 8:30. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright, so starting out with our very first 1 o'clock matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Starting out with the Dolphins. Wow. What a game you played against Las Vegas. It wasn't that entertaining until the end. The ending was just amazing as Ryan Fitzpatrick threw a dot while having his face torn off. Alright, but anyways, Tua Tagovailoa, he threw for 94 yards and a touchdown, so the offense wasn't that amazing under him, but once Fitzpatrick came in, he brought it up with 182 yards and a touchdown. But Fitzpatrick did test positive for COVID, so Tua's going to get this game. Lead rusher was Myles Gaskin with 87 yards, but he followed that up with 82 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Other receiver was Mike Gesicki with 54 yards, Jakeem Grant with 43, Mike Hollins with 42. So you guys don't have Devontae Parker, you don't have Albert Wilson, so you're gonna want to get them back. But anyways, on to the Bills. You know, you're the new class of the AFC East. Josh Allen threw for 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, was an absolute god. Zach Moss ran for 57 yards and a touchdown. Singletary, he also did well with 36 yards. Stephon Diggs, he had 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's the man. Dawson Knox had 51 yards, Greg Davis with 33, and then Logan Smith with 31 yards and a touchdown. So a good game overall. The defense did amazing against the Patriots. Only allowed just about 200 yards. So good on you. And I forgot to say about the Dolphins, the defense was okay, but at the end it just completely fell apart. This is a must-win game for Miami. But the Bills also want to win this one if they want the number 2 seed. Bills are favored to win this one by 3. Give me the Bills. They will win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next match between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Starting out with the Ravens. You guys have been getting hot at the right time, and that's what matters, because if you're hot now going into the playoffs, you could be on another level. Lamar Jackson, he was all right. He threw for 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He also ran for 80 yards. So that's pretty good. The rushing game's unreal. Had 249 yards. Gus Edwards ran for 85, and then J.K. Dobbins had 77 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Mark Andrews with 76 yards, followed by Gus Edwards with 37, Hollywood Brown with 25 and a touchdown, and, of course, Dez Bryant getting that 1 reception for 8 yards and the touchdown. Dez with the X, it's back. The defense, you stopped the Giants. I'm not really that impressed, but, like I said, you're getting hot at the right time, and a win's a win. And then the Bengals, you beat the Texans. Both these teams suck. Brandon Allen threw for 371 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Perrine ran for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lead receiver was T. Higgins with 99 yards and a touchdown. So he's been lights out this year for the Bengals. Great. First pick out of the second round. Erickson had 88 yards, followed by Giovanni Bernard with 66. AJ Green with 64. That was pretty much it. The defense was not good against the Texans, but you did force 1 fumble. And, Brandon Allen, he played well, but it's the Texans' defense. But still, win's a win, even though he should be tanking. So, Ravens are favored to win this one by 12. The last time they had to beat the Bengals in a must-win game, they lost, which allowed Buffalo into the playoffs in 2017. Good time, Bills fans. Like I said, Baltimore favored by 12. I'm going to say that Baltimore wins this one, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Starting out with the Steelers, first half against Indianapolis, you didn't do well, but you ended up pulling out a 28-24 victory. Ben Roethlisberger, he played very well, threw for 341 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. The rushing game was inexistent. James Conner, lead rusher with 21 yards and a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster, as soon as he gives up the TikToks, he had 96 receiving yards and a touchdown, so good on him. Deontay Johnson follows that up with 74 yards and a touchdown. Followed by Chase Claypool with 54, and then Eric Ebron with 47 and a touchdown. So the defense, like I said, at the beginning was bad, but at the end clamped up and was able to shut down the Indianapolis Colts. So good job, guys. And then the Browns, you lost the freaking Jets. Like, what were you doing? Like, why did Baker Mayfield throw the ball 53 times? Like, I know the Jets are okay against the run, but what's wrong with Chubb and Hunt? Only the greatest running back duo in the NFL right now. You had no receivers. You had no reason to be passing the ball that much. Mayfield had 285 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Chubb ran for 28 yards and a touchdown, and Hunt had 11 yards and a touchdown. You ran it 18 times. Like, you're literally like the Steelers. Like, all pass, no run. I don't know why. Austin Hooper was your lead receiver with 71 yards, followed by Bradley with 60, Kareem Hunt with 41, and then Chubb with 38. So, honestly, like, you could do so much better. You lost the Jets. You lost some pride. Steelers, I don't know why you're not starting Mason Rudolph. I don't know why you're starting Mason Rudolph over Big Ben. Like, you still could clinch the number 2 seed. But anyways, Browns are favored to win this one by 10. I'm going to say that they win. But don't cover the spread, and Myles Garrett will hit Mason Rudolph in the head with a helmet again. Just kidding. No, he won't. And now you have our very next match between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. Start of the Vikings, you can freaking suck it. Saints with a huge, huge victory over you. You're out of the playoffs. We eliminated you. You can suck on that. Anyways, but against the Saints, Kirk Cousins, he was okay with 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Dalvin Cook ran for 73 yards on a touchdown, but he is going to be missing this game. His father passed away, so he's going to go more. He's choosing to miss this game, but my condolences out to him. Lead receiver was Adam Thielen with 97 yards and a touchdown, followed by Justin Jefferson with 85 yards, and then Irv Smith with 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. Anyways, the defense, absolutely terrible, gave up almost 600 offensive yards to the Saints. So, honestly, the Vikings this season, you got off to a terrible start, gained a little bit of momentum, possibly we thought you could turn the tide, but, you came back too little too late. So, yeah, this season for you was a disappointment. And then the Lions, you kind of performed how I expected the season. Matt Stafford, he threw for 17 yards, got injured. So in came Chase Daniel and David Blau. They combined for about 120 yards and a pick. DeAndre Swift ran for 45 yards, followed by David Blau with 18 and Peterson with 10. Lead receiver was Danny Amendola with 37 yards, DeAndre Swift with 25, and TJ Hawkinson with 23. So I really have nothing to say about this game. Like, Lions, you were terrible. Your defense was also just as bad. Gave up over 600 yards of offense. So bad. That was also including 143 passing yards from Blaine Gabbert. That's honestly just so embarrassing. But anyways, Minnesota, they're favored to win this one by 6.5. I'm going to say that they win and cut the spread. You know what? That's what's going to happen. And now you have our very next matchup between the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. Starting out with the Jets, your goal was tank for Trevor. You fucked that up so badly that now you're not getting the number 1 pick. So maybe Darnold is going to be the answer there. He threw for 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks against the Jets. Jamison Crowder had 43 passing yards and a touchdown. It was basically just 1 pass he got to throw. Leader rush was Frank Gore with 48 yards, followed by Perrine with 30 and Darnold with 20. Lead receiver was Jamison Crowder. He was doing it all that day. Had a passing touchdown, had a receiving touchdown. Did not have a rushing touchdown, though. But he did end up getting the triple-double, which is 10 passing yards, 10 rushing yards, and 10 receiving yards. Followed by Berrios with 60 yards and a touchdown, followed by Herndon with 34 yards and a touchdown. So, anyways, the defense did well against the Browns. I mean, you forced 2 fumbles against them. But honestly, the Browns, their play calling in this game was terrible. Then on to the Patriots. I said you were going to be okay this season, but turns out you weren't. Cam Newton is not the answer. He threw for 34 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Stidham came in, threw for 44 yards. Leader rusher was Sony Michel with 69 yards, followed by J.J. Taylor with 38 yards, and then Cam Newton had 24 yards and the 1 touchdown. Leader receiver was Jacoby Myers with 45 yards, followed by James White with 23 yards. So honestly, I wasn't sure if Cam Newton was going to be boom or bust. I thought he was going to be in the middle, a little bit closer to boom, but he was a lot more of a bust. The beginning of the season, he looked pretty good, but at the end, the wheels just fell off. Anyways, the defense, absolutely terrible. Allowed about 500 yards to the Bills, but, it's the Bills. They're a team on the rise. Patriots are favored to win this one by 3.5. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. So either one of these teams who both suck, either of these teams can make the playoffs. Now, what has to happen is whoever wins, if the Cowboys or Giants win and the football team loses, one of these teams is going to win. So the winner of this game will make the playoffs if the football team loses. But anyways, Andy Dalton against the Eagles, he's actually wasn't too bad. Threw for 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Ezekiel Elliott finally regained form as he had 105 rushing yards. CeeDee Lamb, although had the only rushing touchdown as he had like 1 end around. Lead receiver was Michael Gallup with 121 yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Amari Cooper with 121 as well. And then CeeDee Lamb with 65 and a touchdown. So honestly, if this trio is hot and you get into the playoffs, you might be in some trouble. But it's Philly. Their defense sucks. But you know, like I keep saying, a win's a win. And you need this to make the playoffs. The defense, struggled at first, but eventually locked them down at the end. So good job to Dallas. And then the Giants, you're not making the playoffs. Like even if you do make the playoffs, like you're not going anywhere. Daniel Jones is not the guy. I mean, he threw for 252 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Wayne Gallman ran for 27 yards. Lead receiver was Sterling Shepard with 77 yards and a touchdown, followed by Evan Ingram with 65 yards and Dante Pettis with 33 yards. So the defense fell apart to the Ravens, especially the rushing attack, but that's pretty much it. Like, I expected that from you. Dallas's favorite win this one by 2. And, Andy Dalton has been hitting his stride lately, and he needs to be hitting that if they want a chance at the playoffs. So give me the Cowboys in this one. They win and cover the spread. And now you have our final 1 o'clock matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Starting off with the Falcons, where was that performance? Like, you almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, where has that lockdown defense been all year? I mean, the offense was pretty bad and stale, but, you almost won. Matt Ryan threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Irv Smith ran for 46 yards, followed by Blair Hill with 36, and that was pretty much it. Calvin Ridley led in receiving with 130 yards, followed by Hayden Hurst with 47 yards and a touchdown. Todd Gurley had 34 yards. Hill had 25. The only other one to have a touchdown was Laquan Treadwell with 11 receiving yards and a touchdown. Like I said before, the defense, you stuffed the Kansas City Chiefs as long as you could. But the thing with the Chiefs is, you can keep them down, but they're going to somehow find a way to win games. If the thing is, you got to be able to keep up with them offensively. I mean, you did, but you got to be ahead of them on offense because they can come back at any time, and that proved. And unfortunately, Younghoe Koo missed the go-ahead, like game-tying field goal. And then the Bucks, well, against the Lions, it was just absolute. It was a massacre. Tom Brady threw for 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He was doing so well that Blaine Gabbert got put in, and he threw for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. A day where he throws for that is embarrassing. Vaughn ran for 62 yards, followed by Fournette with 34 and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Mike Evans with 181 yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Chris Godwin with 84 yards and a touchdown. Rob Gronkowski with 58 yards and 2 touchdowns, and finished that off with Antonio Brown, 35 yards and a touchdown. So honestly, the Bucks are the Bucks are a lot like the Ravens, getting hot at the right time. The defense was completely a lockdown unit, but you face Chase Daniel and David Blau. I would expect anyone to shut them down. Bucks are favored to win this one by 6.5. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very first 4 o'clock matchup, one of the more important matchups between my boys in the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Starting out with the Saints, Merry Christmas to everyone. Alvin Kamara just gave the gift of death to the Minnesota Vikings. So that's a good Christmas for me. Drew Brees threw for 311 yards, no touchdowns, but 2 picks. One was his fault, the other was not. So yeah, but he's got potential. I could see him doing well in the playoffs. Alvin Kamara ran for 155 yards and 6 touchdowns. Last time someone ran for 6 touchdowns, you couldn't even get called for a face mask penalty. It was in 1929. But anyways, lead receiver was Emmanuel Sanders with 83 yards, followed by Jared Cook with 82, and then Trotman with 45. The defense had some trouble with the Vikings, but they're a good offensive team. But we got stops when we needed to, and that's what's needed. Now, sadly, Kamara is going to be out against the Panthers with COVID and could possibly be out for the first playoff game. But I'm not too concerned because Latavius Murray, he's proven that he's a great number 2 back against the Broncos. He completely ravaged them. So I got hope in Latavius Murray. And then the Panthers, you beat the football team, but it was a Dwayne Haskins-led football team. Anyone can beat that. Teddy Bridgewater threw for 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, so he was okay. Lead receiver was, rusher was Curtis Samuel with 52 yards. Mike Davis had 28 and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Curtis Samuel because he's the big man so far with 106 yards, followed by Robbie Anderson with 39 yards and a touchdown. The defense, did well against the football team, but it's the football team led by Dwayne Haskins. Literally, Taylor Heineke led the offense better. So did Kyle Allen and Alex Smith. Haskins so bad he got cut. So there's a lot to be said about that. Saints, we are favored to win this one by 6. I'm saying that we win and cover the spread. Easy win over Teddy Bridgewater. I still love you, buddy. And I miss you. And now you have our very next matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. A good old classic rivalry. Anyway, starting off with the Packers. You know, I had some questions about you going up against Tennessee. Man, you just completely shut down those questions. Beat them 40-14. Doing very well. Aaron Rodgers threw for 231 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. He didn't have to do much as the rushing game was amazing. A.J. Dillon ran for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Aaron Jones with 94 yards. So that's pretty good. Davante Adams, once again, as dangerous as he's been this season, had 142 yards and 3 touchdowns, followed by St. Brown with 21 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty much it. The defense did well, forced 2 Tannehill interceptions, and limited Derrick Henry to 98 yards. So good job. Like, literally, good job. I hate on you, but you impressed me. So good job. And then the Bears, you could be making the playoffs. Might not be the best thing in long term. Mitch Trubisky, he's been looking good recently, but he's faced a lot of weak defenses. He threw for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. David Montgomery, he's been getting hot recently. He ran for 95 yards and a touchdown, followed by Pierce with 26 and a touchdown, and then Trubisky with 10 and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Allen Robinson with 103 yards, followed by Jimmy Graham with 69 yards, attaboy, and 2 touchdowns. The defense shut down the Jaguars, but it's a Mike Glennon-led Jaguars. So honestly, Packers easily the favorites win this one by 4.5, but give me the Bears in this one. Even though Trubisky's faced some bad defenses recently, I think he's gonna play decently against the Packers, but Dave Montgomery's gonna do the damage. He's gonna do the damage, and the Bears will win this game and make the playoffs. And now you have our very next matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. Starting out with the Jaguars, you know, you got him. You got the number 1 pick. You getting Trevor Lawrence, even though right now Justin Fields has been completely lighting it up against Clemson. But enough about that. Mike Glennon threw for 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Lead rusher was, I'm not even going to pronounce his name, D.O. I'll just call him D.O. Ran for 71 yards. Lead receiver was DJ Chark with 62 yards and a touchdown, followed by Laviska Shenault Jr. with 48 and a touchdown. That's pretty much it. The defense fell apart to Mitch Trubisky and Chicago's rushing attack, but your defense sucks, so I can expect anyone to ravage you. And then the Colts, I was hoping you could beat the Steelers. Sadly, you did not. What went wrong? Phillip Rivers threw for 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jonathan Taylor ran for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lead receiver was Zach Pascal with 64 and a touchdown, followed by T.Y. Hilton with 60, and then Jack Doyle with 50. So what went? The defense fell apart, like great in the first half, but just did not happen in the second half. So clearly that's what led to your downfall, was the awful second half. But hopefully you can get that together in today's game. You are favored to win this one by 14, but you did lose them in your season opener. But you know what? Still, give me the Colts in this one. They win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. Starting out with the Titans. Apparently, snow completely neutralizes your offensive power. Because you lost 40-14. The offense just wasn't there. Ryan Tannehill, I did praise him last week. He still is a great quarterback, even though he had a down performance against Green Bay. Threw for 121 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks. Derrick Henry was just completely neutralized by the Packers. Ran for 98 yards. Tannehill had the only rushing touchdown, as he had 55 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was A.J. Brown with 43 yards, followed by Janu Smith with 30. Westbrook with 19. And yeah, that was pretty much it. The defense fell apart to the rushing attack of the Packers and Davante Adams. So there's that, but, you know, you got to get that defense figured out if you want a chance to make the playoffs. Like make another deep run like you did last year. And then the Texans, well, I can't believe I think I had you in the playoffs this year. That was a big mistake, because, look, yeah, I know Bill O'Brien left this team in shambles, but I did not think you would have such a bad start. I did not think that you would be as horrific as you were. Watson threw for 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. David Johnson had a good game, ran for 128 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Cooks had 141 yards and a touchdown, followed by Kiki Kute with 54 yards, Akins with 39, and then the only other guys that had touchdowns were Darren Fells and David Johnson. So, yeah. Defense fell apart to Brandon freaking Allen. Like, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. I can't say anything about you. You fell apart to Brandon Allen. Like, SMA, I can't even with that. Titans favored to win this one by 7.5. Derrick Henry's just going to have a good day running all over you guys. So, Titans win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the LA Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting out with the Chargers, you beat the Broncos. Okay, Justin Herbert breaks the rookie touchdown record, so amazing job to him. I can't believe I had doubts. Everyone doubted him at the beginning, but he completely blew away our expectations. Eckler ran for 45 yards, followed by Herbert with 26. Lead receiver was Mike Williams with 54 yards. Anderson had 48. Parham Jr. had 47. The only guy with a touchdown was Austin Eckler with 23 yards and that one touchdown. The defense shut down the Broncos for the most part, even though, once again, you did allow them to come back late in the game. But you faced Drew Lock. You shut him down, even though he did have one touchdown. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. And then the Chiefs, the last couple of games, you guys are not like what you were at one point. Like, your offense has trouble getting it going, and, you're just barely able to win, just barely able to scrape out a victory. So, a little bit of concerns, but not really. You've locked up that number one seed. Patrick Mahomes threw for 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Sammy Watkins had 1 pass for a pick. It was basically just like their version of the Philly special, but Atlanta read that like a book. Lead rusher was Darrell Williams with 46 yards, followed by Le'Veon Bell with 30 yards. Lead receiver was Travis Kelce with 98 yards and a touchdown, followed by Tyreek Hill with 65. And then Darrell Robinson had 29 yards and a touchdown, and that was the game winner. The defense had trouble against the Falcons, but, the Falcons are an okay offense, so I could see that happening. So Patrick Mahomes, he's not going to be playing this game. I don't even know if any Chiefs stars are going to play this game. So Chargers clearly are the favorite to win this one. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover this. And now you have our very next matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. Starting out with the Broncos, okay, people believed in Drew Lock. I was one of those people who hopped on the Denver hype train thinking Drew Lock would be the next big piece that leads to their success. Oh my god, I was wrong. Now, I'll be honest, next year for him is make or break. So against the Chargers, he threw for 264 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. A lead rusher was Melvin Gordon with 79 yards, followed by Royce Freeman with 16. Lead receiver, you got Deshaun Hamilton back, had 77 yards, followed by Noah Fant with 65, Jerry Jeudy with 61, Tim Patrick with 39. So that was pretty much it. The defense had some trouble against the Chargers, even though the game was close, but Chargers pulled out with a victory at the end. So nothing else to say here. And then the Raiders, oh my god. You guys literally cost yourself the playoffs with a terrible face mask penalty on Fitzpatrick, but Derek Carr threw for 336 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Josh Jacobs ran for 69 yards, and that was pretty much it. Lead receiver was Nelson Aguilar with 5 receptions for 155 yards and a touchdown, followed by Darren Waller with 112 yards, and that was pretty much it. The defense, was okay for most of the game, but at the end, you completely fell apart because, once again, Fitzpatrick was an absolute god, throwing that dime, face mask pulled. You cost yourselves a chance at the playoffs. So, yeah, nothing else I could say here. Anyways, Raiders, they're favored to win this one by 2. Give me the Raiders in this one. They win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next match between the Arizona Cardinals and the LA Rams. Starting out with the Cardinals, what the hell was that against San Francisco? Where was your team? I don't know what the fuck that game was. Kyler Murray was not good. Threw for 247 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. He ran for 75 yards. Kenyon Drake had the only touchdown with 45 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Christian Kirk with 76 yards, followed by Keyshawn Johnson with 50 yards. Hopkins had 48 yards, was dealing with an injury most of the game, so he was on the sidelines most of the time. And then Fitzgerald with 28 yards. The defense was okay. Well, not against the run game. Jeff Wilson Jr. just completely tore you apart. And George Kittle, even though he's coming off surgery, he also tore you apart with 92 yards. So there's some doubts going about you in this game. And then the Rams. Jared Goff is terrible. I don't think he's terrible, but he's, in my opinion, the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. He threw for 234 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Lead rusher was Darrell Henderson with 62 yards. Lead receiver was Cooper Kupp with 66 yards, followed by Josh Reynolds with 65. Robert Woods with 48. So, honestly, the offense was not able to get it going. Under another quarterback, you guys could do well. The defense, kept the Seahawks, you kept it close for a while, but ultimately you fell apart. Jared Goff, he is missing this game as he's getting surgery on his thumb that he actually popped back into place in the middle of the game. So, I don't know who your backup is, but considering that, just give me the Cardinals in this one. They're favored to win this one by 3. So, yeah, give me the Cardinals. And now you have our final 4 o'clock matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. Starting off against the Seahawks, your season's kind of been a tale of 2 stories. Beginning of the season, amazing offense, absolutely crappy defense. The second half, the offense, not as good as it was, but the defense stepped it up. So, if the defense can play as well as it is, I could see you going a long way in the playoffs. Russell Wilson threw for 225 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Chris Carson ran for 69 yards, and Russell Wilson had 9 rushing yards and a touchdown. So, rushing game was meh. Lead receiver was DK Metcalf with 59 yards, followed by David Moore with 45 yards, Tyler Lockett with 44. That was pretty much it. The defense shut down the Rams because, like I said, as long as your defense is able to play as well as it is, I could see a lot out of you in the playoffs. And if your offense can get back to point, you could be maybe the team to beat. And then the 49ers, you missed the playoffs. But C.J. Beathard did well against the Arizona Cardinals, threw for 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Jeff Wilson Jr. was the lead rusher with 183 yards. Lead receiver was George Kittle. He came back, and he was flying with 4 receptions for 92 yards, followed by Jerick McKinnon with 28 yards, and then Jeff Wilson Jr. with 21 receiving yards and a touchdown. The defense did well, shut down the Cardinals, and that quote-unquote awesome air raid offense. So, honestly, I don't know. The thing about the 49ers this season is that as long as everyone is healthy again for next season, and if Jimmy Garoppolo can stay healthy, you guys are going to be dangerous. Everyone gives a lot of crap to Jimmy Garoppolo. In my opinion, he wasn't the problem this year. As the quarterback, he was one of the reasons why you were all right when he was playing. But he's got to stay healthy for you guys to have a chance next year. Obviously, Seahawks are favored to win this one by 6. I say that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our final matchup of the day. Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team. This match will literally decide who wins the NFC East. So honestly, at first the East was terrible, but it's picked up steam. Still no one deserves to make the playoffs, though. Straight up. Anyways, starting out with the football team. Dwayne Haskins, absolutely terrible. Threw for 154 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. So bad, he was released by the football team. Taylor Heineke led the offense better with 137 yards and a touchdown. Lead rusher was Antonio Gibson with 61 yards. Lead receiver was J.D. McKissick with 77 yards and a touchdown, followed by Chris Sims with 63, and then Logan Thomas, who also had 63 yards. So, a defense was okay against the Panthers, but ultimately your offense was just horrific. Anyways, then on to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts had an okay beginning to the game, but then you fell apart to their receiving attack. Hurts threw for 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He ran for 69 yards. Miles Sanders had 57 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Deshaun Jackson. Literally got 1 throw, 81-yard bomb for a touchdown. That was pretty much it. Watkins had 57 yards, followed by Goddard with 38. Ertz with 37. That was pretty much it. The defense, where was it? Non-existent. Fell apart to that Dallas receiving core. So this matchup's going to be interesting. So coming down to it, the favorite to win this one right now is the football team, favored by 3. I'm not sure if they're going to get Alex Smith back, but I'm going to say Philly's defense is terrible, so the Washington's defense is going to smother Philly, and the offense will do just enough to pull out the victory. So give me the football team. They win and cover the spread and make the playoff. All right, so before I end the video, before I go to the outro, now I'm going to give you, after all these predictions, here's what the playoffs are going to look like for me. So in the AFC, number 1 seed is going to be the Chiefs. Obviously, they've already locked that up. Number 2 seed is going to be the Buffalo Bills. 3 seed, Pittsburgh Steelers. 4 seed, give me the Tennessee Titans. They're going to easily win. 5th seed is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. 6th seed will be the Cleveland Browns. And then finish that off, Indianapolis Colts will have the number 7 seed. So sadly, the Miami Dolphins will be missing the playoffs. And then the NFC with my predictions, if they go according to plan, Saints will have the number 1 seed. Packers will have the 2 seed. Seahawks with the 3 seed. Football team with the 4 seed. Then the 5th seed, that's going to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 6th seed will be the Chicago Bears. And then the final seed will be the Arizona Cardinals. So that's how the playoffs are going to look like. On to the end. That is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Oh my god, I can't believe we made it this far. We've made it throughout 17 weeks. I could not have done without you. So truly and sincerely from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because we're leading up to postseason predictions. That's going to be fun. If you like this video, drop a like on it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you got. Who do you have as your top 7 seeds in each conference? Who do you have as your upset of the week and your lock of the week? If you want to see some of my other videos, like all my other prediction videos and all my other recaps, links to all that will be in the description below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Souter Savage. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation is